Welcome in. It is a post-beatdown edition of Philly Voice Sports Bet Show. So we appreciate you. Hopefully you catch some tickets over a wild, ridiculous weekend in the NFL, some other sports that we talked about on Friday's show. We welcome you to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe. If you want to wait a couple of minutes and see what this is all about, Harry Mays, Matt Cherico, I'm Eytan Shander. Again, we appreciate you rolling with us Monday, Wednesday, Friday. All right, let's get the Eagles out of the way. Let's get it back to the Eagles if we can right away. And yes, at some point, we will be talking about why Harry is wearing and why I'm not wearing any hat, right? Like Matt never wears a hat because he has a head of hair that you don't want to wear a hat on. But I chose to not wear a hat today, Harry, out of respect to you, because the only hat that should be on the show is the Temple Owls.
How about that yesterday?
Oh, my.
Oh, man. People are saying, what's the talk around Philadelphia? Was it Philadelphia beating the Giants, or was that business as usual? I said, I thought everybody thought the Eagles were going to beat the Giants. I know nobody thought that the Temple Owls were going to go down to Houston and beat the number one ranked Houston Cougars on their home court as a 19.5-point underdog. And I know you cashed a first half bet on that game.
Well, I just listened to the coach, and I was telling you guys ahead of time before the show that Aaron McKee was very intent on both reminding the media that it's vital for his team to keep that same energy, right? That's what the kids say, keep that same energy, right? And at the same time, he also told the media after the game against ECU that he kind of undressed his team and said, look, you guys can't keep playing that way in the first half. You're going to get embarrassed and run out of the building. So I thought, all right, if Temple has a shot here, it's going to, because, once Houston starts scoring, that's it. Like, it's over. Mm-hmm. So I thought Temple had a shot there. Now, to be fair, I did not place a full game ticket. I was not all owled up by any means, but what a freaking win for them. My God.
Yeah, I'll tell you, but you're talking about that ECU game. They got out rebounded like crazy in the first half of that game. And that's what, ticked him off. And, they knew they were going to have to be much better, rebounding the basketball and defending in order to have a chance to win. And, they did. It just goes to show you how crazy college basketball is.
Unbelievable.
Number one and number two both went down this weekend on their home court.
Yeah. No, it's no longer, and it hasn't been really outside of one. If you have that one player, you get that one dominant team, right? Mm-hmm. But even Purdue, right, hasn't to your point, I think when you don't have a once-in-a-lifetime guy who's just running through college for 6 months,
right,
there's a lot of parity.
Yeah, there really is. Now, I'm going to have a college basketball play today on the show.
Yeah. Okay, good, because I got a hockey play. Yeah, let's go.
Are we doing shots on goal? Is that where you're going?
Yeah, absolutely, because Friday was Friday? One of the days was the sweep. Sunday did not go well. Only played one shot on goal. Anyway, let's just recap. Let's just go through rapid fire here. Recap what went right, what went wrong with the Philadelphia Eagles, and talk about. Well, we can talk about the game. We'll do the rapid fire with the other shit. But as far as the Eagles are concerned, my goodness, this thing was just over. Absolutely over. Right?
First 10 minutes of the game was over.
Come on. You've got these halftime shows that you're doing, so you have to watch. But damn well you would have turned that fucking thing off if you didn't have these shows. Matt, come on. He'd been watching the Amex, I guarantee.
On rerun.
Yes, on rerun. I meant that. Your game was at 8:30 at night.
Right. No, I was actually out to dinner during the first game, the Kansas City-Jacksonville game, and we were at the Capitol Grill, and we had the private room, and it was 20 people, and we made them put the TV on, and the guys in there working for 10 minutes trying to figure out how to put the TV on the seat on NBC. It was on NBC for that game. And he finally figured it out, and we got to watch the Chiefs and my guy Chad Henne from Berks County come in there and lead a touchdown drive to keep Kansas City in the game.
Anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Yes.
And they actually show a lot of confidence in him.
Yeah.
Matt, are you wearing a anything is possible shirt?
No, I'm not. This is just a classic, little Dwayne Johnson. But I did manage to cash out a nice Isaiah Pacheco, over on his yardage. That kid, he's showing
a monster.
out.
Yeah.
He is good. He hit that corner and he took off. So
he plays with such energy. You talk about energy, man. That guy looks like he's shot out of a cannon on every
hits
play.
The hole, man.
Yeah.
I think they have a running back for their future there, and I think they're going to keep him going into this next game. So I was happy we managed to cash on that. But I mean, man, Giants Eagles. There's not much to say about it. I kind of figured when it was 2nd and 5 on literally the first offensive drive for the Giants, 2nd and 5, and Saquon Barkley only gets you a yard and a half. Instantly, I was like, all right, 3rd and 4 now. This is it. This is it. They fail, obviously, that next attempt, and then you go for it on a lot of questionable stuff, even just off the rip of the game from Brian Daboll, which isn't something that we've seen, from him all year. Not that I think that really impacts the coach of the year situation. I still think, after the Jaguars lose, I still think he has the slight edge over Doug Peterson, but man, it was just all downhill. I was a Giants fan that night.
Well, I just hope the Giants extend Daniel Jones for the next 10 years because I can't get enough of him here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, the one guy that I'd be worried about once he gets his feet wet there, like fully cemented in, would be Wink. But
you love Wink.
Yeah, I'm all winked out.
Yes.
All right. But Wink's good against the inferior. Wink, he got scapegoated in Baltimore. But that's a good defense, man.
It is.
That's, and that's part of it too, is that they just. But here's the thing, the NFL, and this is why I don't put any stock in what happened on Saturday or Sunday night, which is how close it was for San Francisco and how easy it was for Philadelphia, because you both know how much this is a week-to-week matchup league. And especially in the playoffs, you have to forget what happened. Because the Giants matched up beautifully against Minnesota, like Philadelphia matched up against New York. And it just, it works that way.
Yeah, it's crazy how they're able to run so easily on the Giants. And it was Kenny Gainwell this time, who's getting the carries and putting up over 100. It's almost like where Sirianni's just toying with Wink, where he's like, oh, yeah, you think maybe I'll do it with Boston Scott this week. Well, how about, maybe not. Miles Sanders. No, Kenny Gainwell. He could put anybody out back there, and they're going to run for over 100 yards.
I mean, with that offensive line, literally, I think one of us could go back there. You saw Jason Kelsey. Leonard Williams was in a chokehold, Undertaker WWE style.
Took him down.
Unable to get past him. It was just pure dominance. And watching it, I mean, even from the other side, the Philadelphia defensive line was ripping through. I mean, you have Evan Neal, obviously a rookie. He's never seen anything like this in his football, career. So to have 3-4 Pro Bowlers rushing at you, that's not something that I expected to, just win that battle. But man, it was pure dominance.
It was a little unsettling, though. I don't know about you guys seeing Lane Johnson limping around out there, and then they lost Landon Dickerson too for a little while, right?
They lost him, yeah. Kelsey,
he got banged up. Kelsey got banged up. So
yeah, look, I think the biggest takeaway that you raised with Lane Johnson, Harry, is that he wasn't even there at the end of the game.
Right.
You're not there to and rightfully so, because I'm sure that guy went through as close to a battle as you can in a sport like that. So he probably needed immediate and routine medical treatment. Right?
Yeah, he's playing through a lot of pain.
Absolutely. But I think that validates your point right there. Like, he's not sitting with two legs wrapped or a shoulder wrapped and smoking a cigar, talking to the media, rolled out there, right? Like Hannibal Lecter. This dude was out. He was not to be seen.
Right.
So that is a concern. But then on the same time, the freaking Bengals were down 3 offensive linemen, and you couldn't even tell.
I know. No, they rolled right down the field in their first 2 drives, for touchdowns, and you were like, well, they could plug and play anybody in that offensive line.
Which game did you think was over faster?
The Eagles.
Yeah.
Because I still thought that Buffalo might be able to muster some offense in the second half.
Yeah.
They scored the opening drive. They kicked the field goal, and then they were done.
Yeah, I'd probably say the Eagles as well. I thought something funny about the Bills game was every time the Bills would get the ball back, whether it was 1 possession, they were down 2 possessions, it kept, here's Josh Allen, the alien, looking to bring him back. And, he was awful. It has to come to a point where we have to have a discussion about Josh Allen, maybe even Stephon Diggs as well, because these are 2 guys who are supposed to be tier 1 elite talents at their position.
They don't run the ball.
They're just disappearing. They're disappearing.
Who's their OC now? Pep Hamilton?
Dorsey, I think.
Yes.
Oh,
Ken Dorsey, the old Miami Hurricane quarterback.
I mean, the absence of Brian Dable, that may help his cause for winning Coach of the Year.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, the Eagles were fine without Doug, but holy shit, it's like they pulled the pin out of a grenade up there in Buffalo. You've got Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier, who say what you want about them overall. Like, they're on the top echelon as far as defensive guys and what they can do in this league.
Mm-hmm.
They look lost, right? And then at the same time, Josh Allen, you're right, they don't really do much to help him out. And meanwhile, granted, they got manhandled by the Eagles, but we've seen a pattern, at least up until that, of Brian Dable opening things up and doing as much as he can to help his quarterback. The Bills, I don't know, man. The Bills are just, that division is weird. Like this, I don't know. It's a weird thing going on.
Yeah, think about what Dable was able to do with that quarterback and guys like Richie James at wide receiver. I mean, he might as well be working for FedEx this morning. You know what I mean? It's like, who are these guys?
Yeah, and he dropped that pass the other day. That felt like a dagger to the heart, just like the Evan Ingram, play from last year when the Giants could have sealed the game, and then they end up losing to the Eagles on the next drive. That was the same thing. And obviously the game was over with Richie James drop, way over, but it's still just reminiscent. And I think they're going to spend this offseason. I mean, $62 million in cap space they're going to spend, but the Eagles and Niners, this is going to be a battle, and I think it's going to be one in the trenches either side.
Any early look right now? The only thing I did was tease both dogs because, and I hate the fact that I had to do 6.5 to get 7.5 because I don't want to leave that. Because look, if you push a leg on a teaser, then you're just betting that other leg essentially at a reduced rate, or you're just getting that, right? Like an alt rate. So you're not getting much back, especially if you're laying 120, 130, 140 on a 2-leg. So we had to take that extra half point at the very least. That's the only thing I really did, was just tease the Niners and the Bengals both up, both through 3, 6, and now 7. And honestly, I'm just going to play the math here. And like with Dallas, no matter how bad it may look, I don't think that either San Francisco or Cincinnati get blown out. And to be honest with you, one of these dogs is going to win outright. I just don't know who.
Yeah, I did the same thing, Eytan. 6.5, laid 130.
You didn't tease through 0?
No, I did not. I took both dogs up.
I love it. I'm sorry, Harry. Go ahead.
No, I just took both dogs up. It's the first thing. When I looked at these numbers, I'm like, man, these numbers are pretty sharp. That Cincinnati-Kansas City line, I think Mahomes is going to be in better physical shape than a lot of people are letting on. I mean, he came back in that game and played the entire second half, and he's going to be getting treatment 24/7 for the entire week. I think he's going to be fine. I really do. So I'm not going to, overblow that. But Cincinnati's won 3 straight games against Kansas City, and they've beaten them in Kansas City. So they are not intimidated by any situation. Nope. That's what you got to love about this team. And I'm so glad they ended up beating Buffalo, because I didn't want this stupid game to be played in Atlanta.
Yeah, and I mean, Joey Cool, how much can you say about the guy? He's ice cold in every scenario you put him in. Amazing. I mean, from college to now the NFL, he just is unfazed by anything in his environment that could be an obstacle in his way. Yeah. So I have one pick that I was looking at for that game, and that's the Bengals team total over 23.5 points. I mean, you look at their performance against this Buffalo defense, who is significantly, in my opinion, better than the Kansas City defense. So I think they're going to come out, and obviously you have to keep up with the offensive pace of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I think they're going to come out and still be gunslinging. I mean, I expect the same thing, and the offense is just rolling on all levels. I mean, I think they keep that up.
They ran the ball pretty well against Buffalo.
They did.
Yeah.
In the snow.
Yeah, after seeing Miami run the ball so well against Buffalo too, I feel like, Joe Mixon is a great talent you have back there. Why not?
Yeah, I think you look at the Bengals, and the two big things that I think people overlook, and I say this as somebody who tried to create that middle and lose, obviously, on the Bills' money line, which I paid up for foolishly, and the Bengals side. But I think what moved the line clearly was the absence of 3 key offensive linemen, which I don't necessarily hate people doing, and Cherico knows this, Harry, more so than anybody that I think, who bets the NBA as much as he does. I think this year is the year of the injury is a myth. Like, whoever is out, it doesn't matter. LeBron James, Jason Tatum, Jason Kelsey, Travis Kelsey, like, guys are stepping in. And unless even Jalen Hurts, like, they turned the ball over 4 times against the Cowboys to lose that game. So I think the rush to bet against injury or bet with a team that's, facing a team that's losing a guy, it has caught up. And that's what I think happened where, that. And then also, too, I don't know. I'm not. So I don't know if anybody in their circles are talking about the defense and the defensive coordinator for the Bengals. Not Lou Amarillo. What's his name?
Lou Lamarillo? He's a hockey general manager.
I know.
Yeah, I
Lou
couldn't.
Anaromo.
Anaromo,
Okay.
Yeah, I know it was a Lou. That's why I went full Lamarillo on you.
I mean, is he getting interviewed? Is he being looked at as a possible head coaching candidate?
All
He
this
should.
guy is, right? I mean,
Yeah.
my God, look, I love Jonathan Gannon in the sense of what he's been able to corral here, but you've got 4 guys up front on a not so blitz-heavy defense that are just winning battles. I mean, these guys are winning. That's what happened to the Giants, right? It's just one
He's
battle.
turned Eli Apple into a significant, cornerback in that defense too.
That's almost as impressive as Brian Dable turning Daniel Jones into a better
A
quarterback.
respectable
Serviceable quarterback.
He's a better quarterback than Dak.
He is. I think he is. I've been running with that take this weekend, and Dak proved it right last night. I mean, that interception prop, you could have put the house on. After missing it last week, it went back down, actually, to minus 138, I believe. And obviously, just boneheaded plays from Dak. He's really bad. I mean,
you just knew they were done when they got the fumbled punt deep in San Francisco's end and had to settle for a field goal. Are you serious?
And you're bringing out Maher, who,
Yeah.
man, that's a whole story.
Missed
in
another
itself.
extra point.
He missed, right, but he still goes over the field goal prop. I didn't bet that.
Okay.
I got burned. So I got burned because those idiots went for it on 4th down when they really should have just kicked the field goal. Close, right? But that's where the field goal prop, by the way, went 1 for 3. This one and 3 this week.
1 and 3. Okay.
Yeah, 1 and 3 this week. Rough week. Now, to be fair, we don't normally play these games during the day. It's only at dark. But to be fair to that, the only one that hit was the freaking first game, the Chiefs and Jags game. So rough week for the field goal prop. But I was watching Brett Maher and I was like, you know what? I should have just bet his over, because I bet nobody took the over 1.5, even though it was only like minus 110, 115.
Yep. And then you look at like Tony Pollard, Zeke situation. Tony Pollard goes down now. I hope that doesn't impact
Broke
his
his leg.
stock.
He's out
And Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, that guy is another one horrible, in my opinion. I mean, he's lost all shiftiness, all sense of wiggle. He kind of just goes into the lane head first, dives in, just hoping he can get a few yards. Like, these seem like prayers now coming from this Cowboys offense. And I think the best days of that offensive, talent of him and Dak Prescott, I think we've seen enough.
Yeah. CeeDee Lamb had a big game, but he appears to be the only one. And my guy Dalton Schultz,
He's doing
he's just like death in taxes. He's automatic for a touchdown, that guy.
I had a 5-leg same game parlay that included Dalton. Like, the big one in that was a plus 230 Schultz anytime. And it was just over-unders for passing, receiving. And I ate a little chalk. I was 5 McCaffrey yards away from it hitting.
I've seen a lot of McCaffrey hooks this weekend, too. He was close.
And like, I don't know what his actual total was, but I just needed 40. It was brutal. But what can you do? I mean, you're not doing those to get rid of. All right. What else? Harry. All right. Harry's got a college basketball play. I've got something in the NHL. Matt, I know you have something in the NBA. I may probably hit you with something in the NBA too. Why don't you go ahead first?
Me?
All right.
No, let's.
Okay.
I want to end with the college. I'm gonna build up. This is historic. We haven't had a college play in weeks.
Gotcha. All right, so I am going with the matchup today of the Chicago Bulls going up against the Atlanta Hawks. I think there's a lot of money to be made on this game. And the first pick that I'm going with is DeJounte Murray over 28.5 points and assists. And I am taking this one because, I mean, we've been talking about the lackluster defense of the guards in Chicago for a while now. And so I think he's going to take advantage of his matchup against a guy like Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan, who don't play a lot of defense. And he also has a lot of length on these guys in terms of wingspan. So that's going to be my first pick in that game. And then the second one is going to be Nikola Vucevic over 11.5 rebounds. And I'm taking this one because, I mean, the Hawks are the worst rebounding team in terms of centers in the league. They give up the most rebounds, and Nikola Vucevic, a guy that just is consistently cleaning the glass. I mean, that one speaks for itself. My last pick, Paolo Banchero over 18.5 points tonight against the Celtics. I think this is a game where he's going to have to thrive, and you look at the last 5 games against playoff teams in which the Magic have played, and he put up a solid 18 against Denver, 19 against Utah, and then you go to Golden State, 25, Memphis, 30 points. So he's finding his rhythm in these kind of good defensive games, and I think we're going to see that again in a game where he needs to score a lot to keep them in it.
So normally, I'm on that play. I love it. Like, great minds, right, as they say, because I had that in my daily NBA video for Odd Shopper, the over 11.5. So I'm
nice.
right there with you, man. It's a great call. It's a great matchup, and he's a walking double-double right now. You know he's going to get you at least 10. You boost the matchup there. You know, he's ladder material. Harry loves the ladder.
I love the ladder.
14 rebounds, 16 rebounds.
Yeah.
You know?
No Clint
Is he
Capella,
the rookie of the year?
Who? No, well, Vucevic.
No, Banchero. I'm talking about,
yeah. What are the odds right now?
I don't know. That's what I'm just thinking. I mean, that guy, he's awesome.
Yeah, it's got to be
He's
close.
minus 900. Yeah, because Methuselah and Jaden Ivory are the other guys.
Wow.
Benedict Methuselah.
Oh, yeah, for the Pacers.
It's
Get
good.
out of Arizona, right?
Yeah.
It is good.
Yeah.
Come on here. Come on.
Methuselah.
So let's look at Benedict Methuselah. Here's the thing. Let's look at this here. The only thing I would add tonight, and I would dip it on the 60-minute line. I think you can take this down. Thanks to Martinez, of course. You never played the puck line here.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that I would look at would be the Dallas Stars. So take them. You can get them on DK minus 110 on the 60-minute line. Like them in their spot tonight. And shots on goal are going to be thin, but I like them against the Sabres, So fire that one up. And then, Harry, I know you're all jacked up here to talk some college.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's that time of year. Things are getting thin with football, so I figured we'd go a little college basketball. And no, I've been watching this Kansas Jayhawks team, and they had a rough week. They lost 2 straight games. They lost at Kansas State, and then they got waxed at home at the Fog by the Horned Frogs over the weekend. They're now going to Baylor, which is another tough place to play. Yep. Baylor is a minus 130 on the money line. I'm taking the Baylor Bears to continue the misery for Mr. Bill Self and the Kansas Jayhawks. I don't think Kansas gets right tonight. They'll have to go back home just to break that losing streak. So I'm taking Baylor. Those 3 guards can fill it up.
I like it. All right, so Baylor on the money line.
Yeah. They're favored by 2.5.
I see that. So what are you laying? Like 130?
130.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is fine, right?
Yeah.
By the way, I mean, that's the same as that teaser that I'm putting in there for
the dogs.
Right.
Yeah.
So I like that, man. I thought you were going to give us a little local pen action.
Well, it's a bad night in college hoops. You look at some of these games, it's terrible.
No. It's absolutely. I kid you not. I did jump on the Chiefs money line. Any thoughts on that?
Ooh.
On the way out.
Okay.
It's the only other thing outside of the team. Now, again, I have created what
minus 115?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
On DraftKings.
Right.
Or FanDuel, sorry.
Yeah.
So I now have the Bengals in a teaser at plus 7.5 and the Chiefs at the money line. Now, here's the thing. I don't know what else I'm going to do, but I just wanted to leave you with that. By the way, that Mixon most playoff rushing yards plus 1,000 still intact.
Yeah.
McCaffrey playoff yards at plus 300 still intact.
Yeah. And by the way, I would take Penn and lay the 16.5 tonight, Eytan. Hartford is one of the worst college basketball teams in the country.
Terrible.
They're right down there in the bottom 3, I think, with Long Island University. So if you're going to lay 16.5 at the Penn Quakers, go ahead and do it.
Can you bet team totals in college in Pennsylvania? Because I would definitely bet under Hartford. It's a 140.5. Wait, hold on a second. Yeah. Hartford total points is 61.5.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if they get there.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I'm seeing a total of 140.5 as
Yeah,
well.
140.5. All right, so there.
Wow.
I mean, that's 140.5 minus
80 to 60.
Exactly right. But that's a larger spread, right, than what the spread is at 16.5.
Mm-hmm.
So to Harry's point, if you just look at where team props are to get to that total, there is a little gap there. I don't think this is a science that you should do every game, but that does make sense. In which it was all right. The total and the team totals, as far as the breakdown, would represent a good play on Penn minus 16.5.
Yeah, I don't think Hartford gets out in the 50s.
No, I'm with you. I'm going to bet under 61.5. I talked myself into it. All right, let's see it.
There you
Have
go.
a good one.